Okay, guys, we're going to talk about cooperation and conflict between Europeans and natives. And keep in mind, when we're talking about Europeans right now, we're talking predominantly the French and the English, but we will see the Spanish in there as well. So there was a lot of cooperation between Europeans and Native Americans. For the first part, Europeans brought a lot of weapons, metal farm tools, weapons such as guns with gunpowder, metal swords, and metal farm tools, shovels, and plows, things that Native Americans had never seen before. They engaged in trade with the natives, they shared what they had, and they also brought new crops and animals that benefited the natives. This was all part of the Columbian Exchange. There was also a lot of fighting, a lot of conflict between Europeans and native tribes. The Europeans and natives had very different ideas about land ownership. Specifically, the Europeans thought that a person could own a plot of land, whereas Native Americans felt that the land belonged to everyone, and so we just had to share. There was an intense and amazing amount of competition for trade between tribes and the Europeans. The natives wanted the supplies that the Europeans brought, and they sometimes fought each other over it. There were vast differences between the cultures of the Europeans and the natives, between religion, and again, also comes back to that land ownership and how they viewed their societies. Clothing, religion, languages, social structure. Um, we didn't understand the whole chief thing, but we understood king. So we're going to see that later on when we talk about King Philip's War. And one of the greatest results on Native Americans was diseases from Europe, specifically smallpox. It decimated Native American tribes and societies. All right, let's look at this image. On the left, we have a map of, well, let's before we look at the map. Chester the Crab, Puritans, Massachusetts, 1630. Why did English and Indians, but we all know called Native Americans, dispute the land? English colonists in New England have different ideas about land than their neighbors. So the map on the left is a map of New England, specifically Massachusetts. You can kind of see that little hook come out on the side right over here, which is actually Cape Cod. You see Plymouth and the city of Boston right here. So it also shows the Native American tribes that are in the area. One of the bigger names that we've talked about being the Wampanoags. Now the top image on the right says the Indians have small villages and roam the woods freely. They waste God's land. They're talking about farming. We valued farms, large amounts of farm, and used it every inch to our advantage. And then you have the guy on the below him saying, "I just bought 1,000 acres. I'll be rich soon." That's what mattered to Europeans. It's not what mattered to the natives, though. The natives say, and you see the bottom image where the Native Americans are talking. The colonist farms are pushing the animals away. My beaver traps are empty. Yet the colonist pigs roam free and eat our corn crop. So right there shows one of the biggest differences as it pertains to land ownership and land usage between the Europeans, specifically the British, and the natives. Moving on, the New England Indians also die from diseases carried by the English. The 80,000 Indians in New England in 1660 have dwindled to about 20,000 in 1662. The Wampanoag leader Alexander is sick when colonists make him walk to Plymouth for a meeting about land. You see him saying they treat our leader like a criminal. Let's be honest here. A Native American leader named Alexander, I don't think that was probably his real name. What do you guys think? On the bottom, the long walk kills Alexander. His brother Philip, quote unquote, becomes the leader. "Philip, we must do something. When we hunt for food in the woods, the English say we trespass on their land and throw us in their jails. The Plymouth court also says we cannot buy any more guns. We're becoming slaves to the English." Philip wonders, is war the answer? What next? Well, I'll give you a little bit of a preview. There will be a war, there will be a fight. It will become known as King Philip's War. But here's my question to you. Is King Philip A king? Is his name really Philip? A lot like his brother Alexander? Again, Native American and European differences. We understood kings. They don't deal with kings. They deal with chiefs and leaders. I want you to look back at your vocabulary and find out who was Philip. What was his real name? And that's it for now.